I wanted to get into what data shortcuts are at a high level, how they're created, where they're stored, and why they're different than external references. I also wanted to touch on tips for managing data shortcut paths. So without further ado, I'm going to get straight into it. So I think we all can agree that on our desktop where we have all of our software icons, example, Civil3D, this is actually not where the software is downloaded to your hard drive. This is essentially a shortcut to where that path is. The way you can tell that is with this little arrow icon next to the software icon, telling us that it's a shortcut. And prove that real quick here too with when we're looking at where it's actually stored on your hard drive. That's going to be within your hard drive, program files, Autodesk. Here's where AutoCAD is actually installed. So these icons on our desktops are shortcuts, and that's the premise of what data shortcutting is within Civil 3D. So it's got some pointers within that application. I've got a survey file here that we received, and this is essentially our basis of design at a high level. This is the base data we use to start our design. So right now I've got an empty example client here folder that is blank. And we'll get into creating a folder structure through Civil 3D. So within Civil 3D, you'll type in tool space, get your tool space prospector tab open. Everything above this data shortcuts line here within your prospector tab, everything you see here is the raw data within the source file that you have open currently. And you can see I have a surface in here called EG surface. So the surveyor provided us a built out surface, and I can go ahead and start rolling off of this to create our design. First step I'm going to do in data shortcutting is set my working folder. I'm going to use that example client folder to set the working folder. After that's set, you'll want to create a new project folder. When you click new project folder, you'll have a path up at the top. And this is reading out correctly where I want it within the example client. I want an example project folder. So I'll call this example project. Now, this is what Autodesk has as far as template files for a folder structure. And you can customize this however you want. Let's explore what that looks like. Here's where Autodesk has built out a organized folder structure within Civil 3D to, when you create this shortcut project, it has organized folder structure. You can customize this however you want. For now, I am just going to accept the defaults and keep rolling on this. So I'm going to hit OK on this. Note now it's reading out a path within these brackets. So it has created that skeleton structure for the project. Let's explore what it looks like now. So I've got underscore shortcuts folder within my example project. Now this is, again, what Civil 3D is going to use to recognize the data shortcuts that are created. Within here, this is going to be Civil 3D specific data. So alignments, profiles, or surfaces, or pipe networks, stuff like that, corridors, all that stuff is going to be stored in here after we create those shortcuts. Right now, we have nothing in here. They're going to be stored in here as XML files. So you can see there's nothing in here at the moment, but we'll get to creating those here in a second. I'm going to go ahead and work off of this base file that we received from the surveyor and create my first shortcut. So now that I have my project folder setup and shortcut folder setup, I can create the actual surface shortcut for that EG surface. And there is one other step. You want to associate the project to the current drawing. So this is going to associate the data shortcut, and you can see it's reading out the EG surface that's within this source file. So I'll check the box and hit OK. And note that a little plus symbol pops up down here under surfaces. And it's got that little shortcut icon, just like we had looked at beginning of this presentation with the shortcuts on our desktops. So this is a shortcut within Civil3D. So now that I have that shortcut created, I can save this file. I'm going to go ahead and save it into my source folder within my project. I'll create a folder called source drawings. And you could also start creating other organization folders within here. You don't want to create it within the shortcuts folder, just right outside it within your project folder. So I'll go ahead and just create an extra folder for the extras I may want to reference in from other disciplines. But for now, I'm going to save this survey file within my source drawings. Okay, now that that's saved, I'm going to copy the datum code because I'm going to start a new drawing for the alignment, and I want online mapping to be available. So I'll go ahead and close this now. Now I'm going to start a new drawing, and first thing I'm going to do is save it into my source drawings as alignment. I'll just copy that datum code over. Now you can see on this fresh new drawing, I still have my data shortcuts mapped, and it's reading that data shortcut. So I can create a reference. Go ahead and do that. And it's created that reference. You can see in my alignment drawing, I have now an EG surface data shortcutted, and you can tell because it's got this little arrow icon, and I'll click the mouse wheel to zoom over. There it is. So we have the surface elevation going on in here. You can see as I'm pointing my mouse wheel, there's Z elevation on the surface. You take a step further and look at it in the object viewer. Now let's explore the difference between that data reference and an XREF. So I'm going to get rid of this data shortcut out of this file, but right now I'm going to external reference that surface in, and we'll observe that. All right, here's the surface XREF'd in. If I hover over this, I don't have any Z elevations. So this is strictly just annotations. I can't create an alignment off of this. You can see there's no surface data within this alignment drawing. It's strictly just annotations. So that's the difference between data references and X references. I have the ability to change the visual representation of this, but I can't proceed with creating data and alignments and profiles off of an XREF. So I'm going to detach this XREF. And let's create that data reference one more time. Now I've got data reference, and again, got some Z elevations and a surface to work with. So I'm going to create a quick alignment. So now you can see I have a surface and an alignment. I'll go ahead and rename this. I'm going to go ahead and create a data shortcut for the alignment. I want to share my design with my team members and have the ability to delegate work. So within a big project files can be cumbersome and become very heavy depending on the amount of data, surface data and length of alignment, etc. So let me create this data shortcut for the alignment. And you can see I've got that alignment example now shortcutted. So I'll go ahead and save this, start a new drawing. I'm going to call this profile. Now that I've got the profile saved in my source drawings, I can go ahead and create those references within that profile drawing. And I'll create a reference for that alignment example. And there it is. So I'm going to go ahead and create a surface profile. And I'll make some adjustments to the height. I'll just go negative 100 to 100. For an example, range is fine. I'm going to go no bands. I'll accept the defaults. So I'll make some adjustments to this elevation grid. I'm wanting to look at the dynamic relationship between data shortcuts and how that updates between drawings. So we've got a surface profile here in red, and it's going to station about 287-ish. So we'll keep note of that. I'm going to go back to my alignment drawing and make some drastic changes. So I'm going to shorten this up quite a bit. So I've shortened it up to about station 152. I'm going to go ahead and save this, and let's go back to our profile. Now you can see on the bottom right, I got a notification, just like an XREF being updated, that data reference has changed, giving me a notification that something's changed. So I need to synchronize it. And you can see it's shortened that up to about 153-ish. So it's showing that the alignment was updated within the profile and over here. So that dynamic relationship is really nice. So this is really useful, knowing data shortcutting and being able to understand the relationship between Civil3D data. You cannot do this with XREFs. And, you would have to kind of track down changes through the different drawings, which can be very cumbersome. With data references, you get automatic updates in real time, and it'll save your design team a lot of time doing it this way. Now, you wouldn't want to utilize data shortcuts on a shorter project, a shorter alignment that's maybe under 100 megs total in data. Probably not super useful to do. This is really for larger projects. Really the high level view of data shortcuts. I hope you enjoyed the video, and have a good day. Bye.